The Icons of Real Estate Podcast. Are you ready to learn the proven money-making secrets from top-producing Icon agents? Ready to skyrocket your business? This podcast is for you. Tune in every week with your host, Tomasz Fonseca, and find out how to implement proven strategies to 10 times your business, from $3 million to $30 million in just 12 months. Brought to you by the Masters in Real Estate Marketing, Arter SEO.
Wow, welcome back everybody to the podcast. Now today I'm thrilled to introduce a very special guest, Mr. Chris Haynes, a dynamic and accomplished real estate professional based in Tampa Bay. Now he has a deep love for the area he grew up in. Now Chris has built an impressive career helping families and businesses find their perfect spaces, but beyond his success in real estate, Chris is also a proud father of three, balancing his passion for his family and career with unwavering dedication. Now, we'll dive into Chris's journey, what makes him tick, and how he's become such a standout figure in the Tampa Bay's competitive real estate market. Let's get started. How you doing, Chris? You okay?
Good. Happy to be here, man.
Tremendous, buddy. Nice honor to have you on. We'll dive straight into your real estate journey and spare no details with us. Now, what going back to the beginning, what inspired you to pursue a career in real estate, and how did growing up in Tampa Bay influence your decision?
So as far as like how I got started in real estate, so the backstory is I used to work at the Hard Rock in Tampa for give or take 17, 20 years.
Okay.
And during the pandemic, you kind of realize like how expendable that industry actually is.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first time I've ever seen a casino shut down during a pandemic. So both me and my wife, both are in real estate, and she also works at the casino as well. She still works there and does real estate part-time, but both of us basically were out of income for 3 months almost. They did give us a little bit of money, and obviously the government helped with stuff like that, but that was a wake-up call that maybe I need to switch it up. Some of the people that I managed there at the Hard Rock, one of the people, Frank Albert, which is my broker, he talks about real estate all the time when I was there, and I tried to do what I could for him as his manager there, helping him take time off and adjust his schedule because he would help me with supervising. So I eventually went with him as a broker, and kind of the rest is history. This is going on year 4 now for real estate. But yeah, it was just one of those things. It was just such a big wake up call to where like your entire livelihood could be taken away in like a moment's notice. I definitely needed to do something to switch it up.
We are most definitely different type of breed when we have to pull it off, when we have to roll the dice and we have to get a 6. No, 4, 5, 3. No, I have to get the 6, you know, and that tenacity that just pushes you to be, a different breed. I love it, which is probably why you've been so successful already. But just in regards of balancing everything, how do you balance like being a father of 3 while building a successful, well, hats off to you, by the way, but while building a successful real estate career?
It's tough. I have 3 children, various ages. I have a soon-to-be 17-year-old, should be a senior next year in high school. I have a 6th grader, and then I have a kindergartner. I would not recommend that age gap to anybody out there. It's not fun to do that, but it makes things interesting. My kids have definitely been a big help with this. 2 of my kids are from a previous marriage, and I have to drive an hour to an hour and a half to get them to school. So not only is it balancing, I mean, like on Fridays and Mondays, basically I'm almost completely useless for many hours of the day, and I have to do all my work kind of mobily. I'm not in my office. I can check my email and stuff like that, but a lot of my work on Mondays and Fridays is done remotely because that's when I either drive or pick them up from school. Then obviously I have them on the weekends. So it also makes open houses very difficult to do open houses. So I've had to come up with some creative ways to open houses, whether it be virtual open houses through like a Matterport system where people can obviously virtually walk through the home, or trying to do open houses only locally. In my Lakeland area that I'm at now. It does make things challenging, especially like when I get home, usually it's 6:30 at night. And I'm still working sometimes till 9, 10 o'clock at night. Regardless of what day it is, just because I have to catch up on things that I couldn't get accomplished during the day.
Almost definitely. the mindset we have to have, especially from going through COVID, transitioning into real estate and having children, there's a certain pressure that you have to cope with, which it just shows your performance speaks well. Now, is there a specific moment or experience that made you realize real estate was the right fit for you?
I mean, I was looking for something. For as many years I was at the casino, income level was great there. I have no complaints on how I
Hmm.
was compensated for my work there. But you always have a cap. When you work for somebody else, there's always a cap on your earnings.
Hmm.
And me and my wife just have this kind of vision to take that cap off, and hopefully set up a future for our kids that, because I mean, right now you're talking about 400,000 is basically the median price in Tampa for a starter home. That's
Yeah.
nuts. When I first bought my home in 2015,
Hmm.
it was 2,500 square feet, half acre on the water, on the Alafai River over in
Beautiful.
Bloomingdale, and for 278. And
Wow.
it's not like I had to do work to the home or anything like that. That home recently sold for $600,000.
Wow.
So the real estate market in Tampa has exploded. And even like as you kind of get out from the Tampa market, whether it be Brandon, Balrico, Wesley Chapel, even some into St. Pete and Lutz and stuff like that, the real estate market is just much more expensive than it was. That
Hmm.
like my smallest child, which is 5 years old, so he'll be soon to be six. Is it going to be $800,000 median price by the time he's able to be 35 and afford a home? So it's one of those things to where we got to start thinking about long term, like future for our kids, and not just for ourselves as well.
Hmm.
So it's one of those things to where I was like, you know what? If I keep doing the same thing, this casino and stuff like that, and how expendable we were, it's just never going to change for them. I
Yeah.
want to be able to help them, be able to afford and purchase a home by the time they're 30, 35 years old as well.
No, most definitely. You sound like a family man, and the morals that you have, that's what every father should really need, to be honest, and have. But hats off to you. Now, in regards to that market changing, you said you bought it at 278, that recently sold at 600. Now, just having in mind, is Tampa Bay is such a unique market? Well, what trends are you seeing now, and how do you adapt to stay ahead of the curve?
So it's definitely very like micro market specific. So the closer you are to the hub or like actually downtown Tampa, the
Hmm.
more expensive and the rarer the real estate market is.
Hmm.
A lot of people are talking about like this influx of inventory we have coming in, which is true. We do have an influx of inventory, but it's what inventory is available. So if you're talking about homes from 200 to 250,000, there's not that many in Tampa, if at all. And the ones that are available in that market they need a lot of work.
Most
You wouldn't be able
definitely.
to get a loan in some of these homes. That's an investor type
Mm.
of home that somebody needs to go in and flip in order to make it ready for the general public. And then even if you get to 250 to 300, that's a small percentage of homes. You really have to get north of 300,000 to get what I would consider a livable, even starter home. I mean,
Wow.
there was a home that I saw listed the other day just south of 275 in Tampa, 1,400 square feet. It was a 2-1, but it had a guest house in the back for 699,000. And I did a little research and comped it out. It comps out at that price
Mhm.
point. That's
That's
nuts.
yeah, that's
So,
crazy.
and there's just so many, a lot of people that are Floridians that don't have like an average like household income of over like let's say 120K. They're the ones that are struggling here to be able to
Hmm.
purchase these homes. But the influx of people that are coming in, they have more money,
Yeah,
and so that's raising, continue to raise this market in Tampa.
most definitely. So, are you seeing people stay and struggle, or like not evacuate, but relocate, or
I'm seeing them relocate to markets
yeah?
that are a little bit more outside of major cities. So, for example, I have 9 listings left in Port Charlotte,
Mm.
Florida. Port Charlotte is maybe 30, 45 minutes from like Sarasota, Bradenton area.
Hmm.
But it's one of those markets to where it's kind of untapped. You can buy land a quarter acre for about 15,000, and you could find a quality starter home for 300 to $350,000. I'm talking
Okay,
about like if that home was in Tampa, probably 650, $700,000 easily, depending on where it is.
most definitely.
Um, so you have to go a little bit more outside of where you would, in the Tampa market or like Sarasota, Miami. Even if you're in Miami, if you go maybe 45 minutes, away from Miami, you could probably find like those homes that are around like the 300K price point. But if
Hmm.
you're in Miami, the prices are crazy. Same thing with
Yeah.
anywhere, Tampa, Orlando, St. Pete, those three markets up here in Central Florida. You have to get a little bit of ways away from those markets in order to really get anything done. Even like over here, we went and toured a home the other day. It's a new construction area over by Lake Parker and Lakeland. Um, you're just south of 400,000 is probably where you're going to be, but you can find a good home between 350 and 400. But that's 100,000 more than people in Lakeland are ready to pay.
Yeah, most
So it's one of those
definitely.
things to where those are Tampa people that can't afford the 600 and $700,000. They're now relocating 35, 40 minutes away from Tampa. Then they
Hmm.
have to commute to work.
Would you say this is like kind of a cycle where the house prices increase, people move in, and then some relocate? Is it the same cycle continuing, or is it something different that's currently happened due to the past factors? We've had the all-time highs of interest rates, the elections.
If we were to build more homes over the course of the last 20 years, maybe I would say this is a cycle that you can expect prices to come down a little bit.
Hmm.
Prices are balancing out, and right now it's definitely more of a balanced market than it was a seller's market for the last like 3 4 years. But there's just not enough inventory of affordable homes.
Hmm.
That's the issue, is affordability. So same thing with like the interest rates. If the interest rates were to come down to, let's say, the mid fives, which
Hmm.
some people predict, I don't know if we're gonna get that low, but I hope we do it sometime this year. That will change the game a little bit because
Most
that's going to
definitely.
open up a lot more people to be able to afford that $350,000 home. Because right now, most incomes in majority of areas that are outside of Tampa, that they can't qualify for the homes, and that's why you're seeing a lot of like sale listings that are out there for over 90 days. Like even down in the Port Charlotte, the average time that a home sits on the market is about 100 days. That's
Hmm.
new construction, ready to go homes.
Most
So a lot of
definitely.
people are also like kind of gravitating towards new builds because new builds are offering a lot of incentives, like paying all your closing costs. In addition to, they're giving you a rate. Last one I saw was 4.99 for one of them. That opens up that door of affordability for some of the people that can't afford a resale home at that 500K price point.
Most definitely. Wow, memorability and just rewarding experiences and just understanding the market can really help clients. But what's your most memorable or rewarding experience in basically helping someone find their dream home or property, or overcoming a challenge that's really become a rewarding experience in helping somebody?
So the project that I have in Port Charlotte has both been the most rewarding and the most challenging.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the toughest markets I feel in Florida because there's a gigantic amount of inventory in that area. So not only are you competing against major builders, you're competing against
Mm-hmm.
a lot of individual builders in that area. And that can make it difficult because a lot of homes are going to sit there and a lot of homes are going to be a tough sell because now not only are you comparing the price point of your home, you're comparing against not like three or four homes, you're comparing against 50 homes.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more of what an overflux of inventory will do. It's been rewarding too because I've never been a part of a project that big.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I helped them purchase all the land down there. I also helped them, uh, help design a little bit of the homes and stuff like that. Put my input in some things that I thought would work for that area.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I listen, sometimes I don't. That's their prerogative to do what they're going to do down there. And they built some beautiful homes, and the market's finally starting to turn a little bit in that area. I
Okay.
think we've gotten to a price point now to where I feel like the homes will start to move. But that's been a struggle.
No, most definitely, you got this. Just having the tenacity to keep moving forward, and I know you do, being father of three, and switching from the casino when everything shut down, going into real estate and building, building, building. But Chris, where do you go from here now? Like, what are your plans moving forward?
I mean, so my big goal would be to help develop. Um,
Hmm.
that would be my ultimate like 10-year goal, was to be a developer of a larger project, or at least assist in developing a larger project. I have a client that I do look for large parcels of land for them, anywhere from 50 to
Okay,
500 acres, and I
beautiful.
would love to be a part of like building an entire community like that, where it's like
Mm,
400 to 500 homes in the community.
let's
Um,
go.
and help the design of it, and also, but I want them to be affordable. I'm a
Hmm.
Floridian, true and true. So I get it. When people are saying like they can't afford these homes, like I understand. I
Yeah.
truly do. I wouldn't be able to afford the home that I bought.
Hmm.
And that's the case with a lot of people too,
Yeah.
that they bought the home at 250, 300,000, 6 7 8 10 years ago, and they wouldn't even qualify for the home right now.
Yeah.
And that's a sad reality for a lot of Floridians. So there needs to be some affordability that brought back to this market, and I would love to be a part of a big project like that.
Well, amen to that, and I wish you success in your future goals, and maybe I can input and help as well, buddy.
Absolutely.
Um, Okay, now here, just one fun last question for you before we start wrapping things up. Here at the Icons of Real Estate, we are the #1 real estate podcast network, and we are passionate about making podcasting accessible for all. Now, the fun question for you, Chris, is if you had your own podcast, what would you call it?
Oh, if I had my own podcast, it probably wouldn't be real estate related, as oddly as this. I would probably call it the Goat Podcast,
The
and it
GOAT
would be
podcast. Let's
it,
go.
and it would be strictly about sports. I'm an avid football fan, huge Cowboys fan, and I follow a lot of basketball and stuff like that. But it would probably be centered around a lot of football and basketball.
Oh,
Um,
amen to that. Well,
yep.
what team do you support?
I'm a big Cowboys fan. Unfortunately,
Cowboys.
we're doing the
Let's go.
same thing that the local team in Tampa is doing. We're watching the playoffs from home now, so it's pretty awesome.
On the big screen, crack open a beer, amen to that. Well, hey, buddy.
Absolutely.
Well, Ethan Thomas and Chris Haynes, sorry. Another episode on the Icons of Real Estate podcast. Over and out. Thank you, guys. Oh, well, sorry. Where can our audience reach you?
They can
Back.
call me. They can call me at 813-313-7222, or they can visit my website, movetotampa.net. And that's MOV, the number 2, Tampa.net. Or they can check us out on Facebook or Instagram. Just search up Haynes Homes and we'll be on there.
Amen. Guys, another podcast on Icons of Real Estate podcast. Over and out. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
You too, buddy.